big man! Oh, it's pretty! It's so pretty!
The MASL semifinals went down and they were everything fans thought they'd be. Both series went the distance. We'll have all the highlights for you, plus a finals preview on today's show. This is MASL Primetime. What's up, everyone? I'm Alex Bastiavansky. So great to have you here for today's show. And last week, of course, we did our semifinal preview on the show. This week, we've got the video evidence for you. All the highlights from all the games coming up. The two best-of-3 series were decided. Who would qualify for the Newman Cup final? Let's find out now. Starting out west, where the number 1 seeded San Diego Sockers faced off against number 4 Chihuahua. Now, despite entering game 1 on a 22-match win streak, Sockers broadcaster Craig Elston had this word of warning last week, looking ahead to San Diego's first match in Chihuahua.
Sockers unable to travel. Leonardo de Oliveira, Charlie Gonzalez, Guerrero Pino, all because of visa issues don't allow them to go south of the border. Then there's Brandon Escoto, who's been nursing an injury. He may not draw in as well. So Sockers definitely facing a challenge at Corner Sport Arena.
Craig was bang on with his prediction. The Sockers were also missing Leo de Oliveira. Chihuahua's Roberto Escalante opens the scoring right there. That was it until the second quarter. Ishmael Rojo dribbles it past Berna Valdivinos, and traveling Sockers fans loving it. Soon after, though, Adrian Miller, beautiful blast from distance, and the Savage were back on top. They just kept going back and forth, though. Cesar Cerda evens it for the Sockers, and that's just how it went all game long. This one needed overtime.
Tocar el balón, la tiene Ponce, exactamente la está buscando, viene a Torres, saca el disparo, ¡gol! 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 ¡Torres! ¡Gol!
Pure madness in Chihuahua. Edgar Gonzalez the winner as the Savage take game 1, 7-6 over the Sockers. Back in San Diego, it was a different story, though. The Sockers lineup back to almost full strength. Charlie Gonzalez, he was missed in game 1. He makes it 1-0. Second quarter, Pee-wee Ortega fights off his man, deposits, and it's 2-0 San Diego, but Chihuahua wasn't going to make anything easy for the home side. Brian Aguilar getting Chihuahua on the board with that strike right there. Just $1:30 later, Carlos Hernandez doing nice work off the boards. He smashes it past Boris Pardo. Hearts were racing in San Diego. It was all tied up 2-2, but it was all Sockers after that. Look at this one. Definitely one of the headers of the year by Felipe Gonzalez. And that wins game 2 in style for San Diego as they force the third and deciding game. 15 minutes to decide it all. 6-2 the final in that one. Game 3 had it all. Beautiful goals, controversy. Here's one of the beautiful goals. Christian Gutierrez barred down. What a snipe. Sockers up 1-0. Home crowd loving it. Hold on, though. Jorge Rios, great work along the boards. Gets denied by Pardo, but roofs the second chance. And that, if you can believe it, was Jorge's first point of the postseason. Incredible. But then
he gets bumped off the play. Well done by Medrano. Cerda steals. Cerda's got Escoto. He scores! He scores! Churras from Cerda!
Now, here comes the controversy. Chihuahua throws a challenge flag. Here's why. Seconds before the goal, Boris Pardo comes out to challenge it. Did he touch the ball? So tough to tell, but the officials looked at the video, said no. If they'd said yes, it would have been no goal, a shootout for Chihuahua plus a power play. How these games can turn on a dime. And of course, after that, the Savage opened up. San Diego took advantage. They made it 3-1, and then that was the fourth goal. Elation for the Sockers, heartbreak for the Savage. What a series, though. It had everything. 4-1 the final score. Boris Pardo said afterwards, it all came down to team play.
The guys came together. We were one. We were one. The defenders, I mean, we're a single unit. There's not one person that's above anybody. We just know that if we play as a unit, there's not a single team that can beat us.
Okay, MASL news. The league has announced its Elite Six. First team All-Stars, Tavoy Morgan, Ian Bennett, Victor Pereras of the Florida Tropics in the midfield, Robert Palmer, Chad Vandegrift on D, and Boris Pardo in goal. The second team, Leo Gibson and Frank Tayu up front, Nick Pereira in the midfield, Marcio Latte, Mike Jones on D, and Juan Gamboa of the Dallas Sidekicks between the posts. Hey, welcome back to MASL Primetime. So the second semifinal featured a tantalizing matchup between number 2 seed Florida and number 3 Kansas City. Now, in our series preview last week, both KC broadcaster Nick Vassos and Florida play-by-play man Brian Ackley opined that this series was a toss-up. There was very little separating these two squads, and that was certainly the case in Game 1. The series opened up in Kansas City, and the home side managed to strike first in this one.
Here's Togba. Now Ray Lee. Yes, it goes. Yes. Comets goal. 1-0.
Ray Lee giving the Comets the early lead. 4 minutes later, James Togba from the ridiculous angle gets that one to go. 2-0 for Kansas City. Florida responds big time though. They got one back, and then Ricardo Dieguez with the gorgeous volley past Nicolau Neto. 2-2 after 15 minutes. Skip ahead now. Score tied 6-6. Zach Reggett and Dieguez hook up for the sweet give and go. How good has Zach been in the playoffs this season? 7-6 FLA, but KC wasn't going anywhere. Letsia Thetsani, what a header. That tied it up, and the winner came in the fourth quarter.
Lee had it knocked away from behind. Now Souza. Oh, Lee gets it back. Oh, over to Marquez! And Marquez buries it! Rub those hands,
Rion Marquez, the winner for KC as they take down Florida in Game 1. And Ray Lee said afterwards they were feeling the momentum after their series win against Dallas.
We just want to, first of all, I want to say thank you to the fans. Without you guys, we couldn't have done this. I mean, we just built up off the Dallas game, of that overtime, and we carried the momentum into this game with a higher intensity, and that's what we want to carry to the next game.
So could they? That was the question. It was all Florida in the first, though, captain by captain. Victor Pereras making it 1-0. 4 minutes later, Drew Ruggles absolutely smokes this shot right here, and yeah, proves to be just a bit too hot to handle for Nicolau Neto. And the Tropics go up 2-0 in the second quarter. KC gets on the board. Milos Vucic finding some daylight, and he cuts the Comets deficit to just 1 goal. But Florida would put it away in the second half. Great passing here. Tic-tac-toe, Ricardo Carvalho making it 3-1. They would end up taking Game 2 by a 4-2 score, meaning, yep, a third and final game was necessary. 15 minutes for all the marbles, and FLA draws first blood. Just 35 seconds in, Ricardo Dieguez, you cheeky little bugger, you. The little chip over Neto, 1-0 Tropics, and then
caught on with heavy legs.
Here's Pereras with it. Pereras over to Regachaco! Goal!
Oh my goodness, that has got to be the goal of the playoffs.
KC's Benji Monreal might have that honor, though, I'm not going to lie, but still a beauty by Zach. Comets responding, though. Rion Marquez shows that KC will not be going quietly into that good night. It was 2-1, but then Dieguez steals, catches Neto out of position, and gives Florida a 2-goal cushion. KC would get one back, though, but then in the dying seconds of play,
Gibson, though, tees it up the yellow line. Kicked away, that may do it. Kyle Williams trying to track it down. Loose out at the midfield. Rico with a shot. Goal! The Tropics are moving to the MASL Championship Series.
For the first time, the Florida Tropics are going to the final. Another incredible series that goes the distance. Kudos to KC for what was a wonderful season, but it is the Tropics that will face San Diego for the Ron Newman Cup. More on that later. First, some award winners and the Canadian assassin, Ian Bennett, picking up some hardware. You would have known this if you just looked at the league leaders, but still, officially, he is the Golden Boot winner and the league scoring title winner. 50 goals on the season, 11 more than the next person, and 62 points to claim the scoring title. Also 11 more than his next closest pursuer. What a great year. And Leo de Oliveira of the San Diego Sockers is the winner of the MASL's inaugural Pass Master Award, which is given out to the player with the most assists in the regular season. Leo had 33, which was 6 more than the next player. And of course, Leo out right now with a lower body injury. The Sockers obviously hoping the engine of the team that he is will be back for the final series against Florida. And a quick note, of course, the MASL has partnered this season with Chill Brands, the international consumer packaged goods company, to offer the company's CBD products to the league and member teams. And right now, if you go to Chill Brands' website, use the code MASLCHILL, you can get 20% off all products and apparel. Welcome back to Primetime, everyone. Joining me today to talk about the 2 semifinals that just went down and to take a look ahead to the Ron Newman Cup final is Dallas Sidekicks broadcaster Matt Thornton. Matt, it's been 2 years since we chatted last. How are things been?
Yeah, that's amazing. 2 years. It's been too long. I'm excited. Love MASL Primetime. Let's do this, baby.
It has been way too long, man. It is so great to have you on the show again. And let's start with a look, as mentioned, at the semifinals, beginning with San Diego taking on Chihuahua. We knew this was going to be a tight series, and it certainly did not disappoint, Matt.
Man, it did not disappoint at all. The first ever franchise win for San Diego in the semifinals against a Mexican team. And I mean, boy, what a back and forth series. You had great goalkeeping. And of course, you cannot lose out on that Boris Pardo in the extra time. Did he touch the ball or not? Personally, I thought the ball split the uprights. I don't think he touched it, but what an incredible series that was. And they did it without De Oliveira, who is out on injury, supposed to be back for the finals. But, I mean, what a great team, great franchise, going for number 16 this season.
Florida and Kansas City faced off in the other semifinal. Matt, 2 teams, of course, you know very well, especially Kansas City. You guys faced off numerous times this season in the Central Division. Another tremendous series, Matt.
It absolutely did. And you got to really hand it to Kansas City. They came out firing, won that first game, then, of course, lost the second and the third. But Rainer House, MVP of the series, the goalkeeper for the Tropics, just played out of his mind. And then, of course, Zach Reggett, to me, the MVP of the Ron Newman playoffs to this point. And their size, they're huge. They're like a bunch of linebackers out on the field, man. It's amazing watching these teams play.
Okay, so the stage is set then for the Ron Newman Cup final. Just 2 teams remaining that will square off in a best-of-3 series for all the marbles. Just give us your breakdown of that championship series and who is your pick to lift the trophy when it's all said and done.
Yeah, Alex, it's going to be an incredible final. Florida Tropics, San Diego Sockers. Florida has never been in the finals as a franchise. And then, of course, you got San Diego, who seems to be there every season. What an awesome matchup against 2 powerhouse franchises. And I like the goalkeeping, Boris Pardo. And then you got Zach Reggett and Craig Childs, who is always a monster in big games. I can't wait. I think it's going to be an awesome final to see. And, my pick, Alex, I know I love an underdog, okay? I got to go with the Florida Tropics. I like the Tropics. I think their depth is great, their size, they're always scoring. They are going to be the underdog. They don't have quite the experience that San Diego has, but I think Florida's going to win their first ever franchise championship.
Okay, just one more thing before we go, Matt. Really quickly, but just wanted to say your Dallas Sidekicks, what a great season they had. Despite going out in the first round, that is going to be one very dangerous club next season.
Absolutely. Hats off to Ricardinho Cavalcante, head coach of the year. Come on, baby. Give him that head coach.
So great to see you again, man. Stay healthy, and we will chat soon.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it, man. Have a great off season.
Welcome back to MASL Primetime, everyone. So this is it. The Ron Newman Cup final is all set to go. 12 teams began the season, and that number has now been whittled down to just 2. Who will be the last club standing when it's all said and done? We take a closer look at the championship final now.
And Christian Gutierrez will shoot and score! Golden Gutierrez!
Leaves it off, header over to Carvalho, goal!
Could there be a more tantalizing storyline than this? The number 1 seed versus number 2. The defending champions taking on a club that's seeking its first ever title. Oh, and let's not forget that last season, San Diego knocked Florida out in the semifinal. So let's take a look at the Sockers then. The MASL's regular season champions that entered the postseason on a 20-game win streak. The Sockers are the current Ron Newman Cup holders and are seeking their 16th championship, by far the most in North American indoor soccer history. Craig Childs, the ageless wonder, leads the Sockers in postseason scoring with 10 points in 5 games. Second in scoring is Leo de Oliveira with 8 points in just 2 games, and that will be a storyline to watch. Leo is nursing a lower body injury. He's questionable for game 1, but likely to return for game 2. In goal, Boris Pardo has been his usual outstanding self. The Sockers are deep, they are talented, and hungry for a repeat. The Florida Tropics have won the most regular season games of any team in the MASL over the past 3 years, but a title has eluded them up to this point. Still, the Tropics were a dominant force all season. The incomparable Victor Pereiras is their captain and led the team in scoring in the regular season. In the playoffs, Zach Reggett has been their main man so far with 13 points in 5 games. And despite the loss of keeper Hugo Silva due to visa issues, the duo of Rainer House and Jorge Navarrete have silenced critics who may have questioned their capabilities. So here's a look at the tail of the tape then. In the regular season, the Sockers didn't lose a single game in regulation time. They sported the league's best defense and second best offense, intimidating numbers indeed. Now head-to-head this season, the teams faced each other just once, and it wasn't pretty. The Sockers won 11-4 back on March 31st. But this is the postseason. The Tropics are not only gunning for their first ever title, but also revenge for their semifinal loss to San Diego last year.
Oh, definitely. You got to use everything you got, right? So I think losing those games to San Diego was a bit harsh on us, but it's always a learning experience, and I think it's going to help us. We got to learn from that. We're going to have a bit more experience on those games, and I hope we can use it in our advantage. Us losing that semifinal last year, that is a bit of a of a feeling right there to go back and win the game, of course. But we know it's going to be a tough game, and we got to be ready.
Despite his squad's dominance this year, soccer's assistant coach Rene Ortiz knows his team can't afford to take the hungry tropics lightly.
So obviously Florida and San Diego are the two top teams in the league. So every time you hear two top teams, there's a lot of expectation of, well, what's going to happen or what would have happened. Florida is a very solid team. And not only this year, the year before and the year before that. So for the last 3-4 years, it's one of the most consistent teams in the league. So every time you play them, it's always a great match. I think you will see indoor soccer at the fullest.
Yeah, I can't wait for that series to get started. Game 1 goes Monday, May 2nd in Lakeland, Florida at the RP Funding Center. 7 p.m. local time, that's Eastern Standard Time. And Game 2 Sunday, May 8th at Pechanga Arena in San Diego is going to be Game 2, 5:05 local time start for Game 2. And a reminder, of course, the MASL has made the switch to Twitch. Head to the MASL's Twitch channel to follow all the Ron Newman Cup final games. And here's just a quick look at the playoff bracket. San Diego taking down Chihuahua 2-1 in the best-of-3 semifinal, and Florida beating KC 2-1 in the other. And of course, those two teams will now face off in the Ron Newman Cup Championship final. And that is going to wrap up this week's show. But just a reminder, folks, all throughout the playoffs, your way to stay up to date with everything that's going on in the Major Arena Soccer League is to check out the league's official social media outlets. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.